What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. 2021 had a lot of highs and lows, and with that, you probably bought some cards for more than they actually should be going for. And I want to highlight the top 10 worst buys and buyouts of 2021. So if you were part of these, you know you were at the bottom of the barrel, with the honorable mention of Farfa's Warrock Mountain buys at $5 to $6. Warrock started out walking so they could slowly just sit on a bench and die out. Oh my gosh, they are now $1.50 to $2, and this is the tip of the iceberg, or perhaps the top of the mountain, because it only is downhill from here. In our number 10 position is a card a lot of Yu-Gi tubers and Yu-Gi streamers pushed initially, and I don't blame you when it comes to the wording, and I have some of my own bad calls later on the list, so if you were one of those, don't feel too bad. It's Heavenly Zephyr Mirador. It's a hand trap. It can't be responded to. It's also a negation. Surely this will pan out. It seems insane on paper. I saw so many people swearing by this and that it would be good. Even some of the top players were starting to yeah, it's got to. The moment I saw that it could not stop access code talker, I knew this was a complete joke. This card started at $12 to $10 and it has fallen to be $3 at this point. A secret rare hand trap at $3. That's right, there's even a worse one, Bahalutia, but people didn't overspend on it after learning the lesson from this one. And if you bought the Starlight rare, it really tried to hang in there at 150 for a good while. The graph doesn't go all the way back to when this was 180 to 200, but if you diamond hands, it's only gone way down to be a junk Starlight, which are Starlights under $100, with tons of people having it listed at 90 and under, going, please, just take it from me at this point. I'm done. I just want to be out. I don't want to see it anymore. So there is our number 10 position. And the number 9, you might remember Ghost from the Trash and the debut, and how all the singles inside were really terrible, but if you really think about it, there was something that was supposed to be a structure deck. So for number 9, we're going to go with Dragoonity buys in general, and we'll show off Barca here. Well, there is Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 in the reprints, but this is the highest rarity version, which should really dig its heels in the sand. Dragoonity turned out to be worse Dragon Link. That's it. That's it. It ended up being a worse version of a deck already in the metagame that would phase itself out to become Rogue. And with that, the highest rarity versions even have fallen down to $22 when people were paying like 50 to 60 at this for 1 point. So really, people just losing their money thinking this memorable deck would end up doing something once again where it completely failed. Now, I did mention we would talk about some of my own mistakes. I thought a certain engine would turn out amazing, and it turned out to be a complete bust. And from that, in our number 8 position is Amazement, and especially Arlecchino. This guy went up to $20+ after release. He started at 12 and then went up because people were like, yeah, this is real. It's gonna do it. And I was caught lost in the sauce playing Trap Tricks Amazement, saying this version, it's gotta be the best version, right? Like, this combines so well, and you get destruction, you get abilities, you get a big attack monster where we need it. Trap Tricks itself ended up doing not so hot over time, and the Amazement engine, its consistency issues, and just how it played into the metagame that would evolve way past it, it did nothing but fall out. And if you spent $22 on this, it is now a low of $5 to $6, a 75% drop on very real money spent up. I hope you enjoyed your time with the engine like I did, but oh my gosh, it did not turn out very well. In the number 7 slot, we have Scrap Chimera. Remember everybody swearing by Scrap Raptor? This engine's gonna take over Yu-Gi-Oh! It's gonna be a secret rare. Konami's gonna rarity bump it, right? And then it only turned out to work pretty well with dinosaurs and every single other version. Oh, Orcus will come back with it. You don't see a lot of those top cut lists now, do ya? The super rare was selling all the way up to $70 at one point, and we got a reprint for it, crashing the price down finally. And if you held on to those super rares, they're impressively still around $20 for the unlims, because people just don't want to let this one go after spending so much money. And it's not the gold letter rare or gold rare, right? In our number 6 position, the Iris Sword Soul got so hyped on release. Oh, it's the first Sword Soul. Sword Soul's coming later. It's going to work with them. And I just kept reading this one. And I was like, there's no way that it actually ends up played. It's got to find a specific interaction or place in the metagame to be good. People, again, read Hand Trap, ability to summon, it'll be quick play. It's got to be good, right? Waifu tax on top of it. Waifu tax doesn't always apply when it comes to core sets. That's a mistake commonly made. A lot of cards fall out there with that, and if you bought it early on, you spent 25 pre-sales, 20 on release. It tried to hang in there, and now it is down to $10 to $12 for this card. And the Starlight Rare, even worse. The waifu tax couldn't protect the Starlight Rare of all things, and it's down to $180, where I know a lot of people early on spent near $300 on this Starlight Rare. Please read the cards and actually consider what they'll do within the format. Test before you buy. Next up, we have Dark Magician Girl. How could she make it on the list? She's the ultimate waifu. Well, if you greedily scalped and bought the larts and continued in around $70 early into the year and then even later, we got a reprint version of it. Now, I will say long term, I think there is something special about the no border version on the original version of this lart versus the one that does have the border. It fits the anniversary collection, and I do think is somewhat special, but it's now readily available at $40, a huge loss if you were in early, and then people trying to get this one early on also lost money on it. So scalping into, well, yep, it's not going to retain value. It's going to go down with the first ever reprint of a lart still through the lart series, even with its differences, fell way down. This might pan out long term, but time is also money, so money being tied up into this long term for it to potentially, hopefully see a pan out. You're not feeling so hot right now, probably, if you were holding on to these. Next up, we have Snake Rain. I just want to say, why did you all buy this out heading into Ancient Guardians? We pointed out heavily, look, it's right there in the text. Make your graveyard rain with monsters. The hint was there all along with the Ogdo Addicts, and also if you pre-spent on Ogdo Addicts, they've done nothing but fall out. But I think Snake Rain is the true highlight, and I remember people early on saying that Ogdo Addict would actually play this card, it'll be good, and people were putting it in their list, and the Collector Rare got bought out. It spiked up to like $80 at one point, and then it fell back down to 60, and it's continued to not look back, continue to fall down all the way to 45. So I just want to say Rare Snake Rain is the actual slot for this list, but a double down buyout dose with the Collector Rare that memes don't always equal long-term dollars, and with new reptile support coming out, people even aren't making it jump at this point. I think the meme has finally died. Next up, we have King's Copium, the Millennium Rare, Pharaoh Rare, Fallout. Millennium Rare is just a better version of Pharaoh Rare. We got Pharaoh Rare instead, where it just looks so ugly, and people early on were spending $80+ I believe on the obelisk, and boy, has it just continued to have a graph that falls down and down. Oh, 150 on pre-sale, excuse me. And you can now get this for a young $30, by far the worst looking one. And even the secret rare misprints, because they are misprints, they only appeared mostly in the NA region. I heard the very few reports of EU, and no foreign language ones have come out. The secrets, they were not intended to come out. They have also fallen out because people are looking at these versions of the cards and just saying, they don't really look all that good, even though it's really cool that they're one per case and they're so hard to find, and this version's not easy. Just something that's initially not panning out at all. Complete King's Copium. But what could be even worse than that? How about some pre-sale games and the worst examples? Wing Requital started out at $50 TCG pre-sale. And for a lot of the big boy pre-sellers, they put it at $15 thinking, wow, this will probably end up selling. I remember even $20 from reputable pre-sellers through $15. But $50 has to be the worst example of spending. And you can get this for just $1 now. I think this actually should probably be the #1 example, but very few people went for the $50 version. Now, pot agreed, but for birds, it sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? But with how Leerlusk works, a lot of people don't even bother to play this card. Test before you invest. Wise words from somebody in my streams. And in the final position of buyouts, we'll lead into what it is, because it caused even Engraver of the Mark to end up being $6 for the super rares, and it's somehow trying to hold on to be, you know, $1 or so. You see it fall out. There's a 50-cent one, $1 one. Oh, it stops the card. It's cross-out designator in the TCG pre-sales at $120, and the general pre-sales being 80 to 90. Everybody thought this was the next coming of, you know, Called by the Grave, except it's going to be super hard to get. Everyone's going to build their deck around it, and it's gone all the way down to freaking $30, with some sales even under that. Oh my gosh, it's just crazy to see the fallout on this card. The going rate right now is near 35, but that is a lot of money to lose, and hundreds of people spent over $100 on, you know, entire playsets, so $300. Just crazy to think about the actual amount of money lost. $200 per playset when they went with TCG Player. I hope that at some point they fix their system for pre-sales. It would benefit everybody, but the fact that this also caused the quote-unquote counter to spike and people to really think everything would bend to this card for it only to become an option within the format and a lot of people to not even bother with it, it's pretty funny to see, unless you're one of the people that spent on it that way. Thanks for watching this list. Did you find yourselves caught up in any of these, or do you actually know a worse buy or buyout that happened? There has to be a lot of them. Pre-sales, you know, only a couple cards tend to pan out. A lot of people were pointing out Sword Soul, but Ecclesia's only fallen like 10 bucks, Mo Yi only 20, and proportionally a third versus 75%, 66%, crazy price drops. I think we got the list pretty well here, but let me know if we missed anything. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation, and let me know, again, if you ended up falling for any of these like I did with Amazement.